If you listen to Nikki Haley, you think that Ron DeSantis doesn't even exist. And this is now a two-person race. I want you to take a look at the results here real fast, once again, because it ain't even close. Donald Trump with 51%. This is our town hall calculations there from Decision Desk HQ, which we have a partnership with for our election results. Donald Trump, 51%. Ron DeSantis, 21%. Nikki Haley, 19%. By the way, Vivek support now goes to Donald Trump. I don't think people who were all in for Vivek are going to vote for DeSantis or Haley. They're going to vote for Trump. So really, it's even more. It's 58%, 59% for Donald Trump. You look at those results, and there's a lot of narratives, a lot of stories you can take from it. The one story you can't take from what you're seeing right there, the one story that is impossible to glean from those numbers, is the one Nikki Haley was trying to sell last night.
I can safely say tonight, Iowa made this Republican primary a two-person race.
What? I mean, unless she's talking about Trump and DeSantis, what the hell is she talking about? How is this a two-person race? Also, one other thing. I have to say, did you notice something? What's going on with her voice? I've been watching Nikki Haley in the public sphere since, 2010, when she was governor of South Carolina. And I understand South Carolina is south of the Mason-Dixon line, but she's never had this Southern drawl. What is she doing here?
I can safely say tonight, Iowa made this Republican primary a two-person race.
Iowa made this primary a two-person race. What's going on here? Why is she suddenly talking like she's a side character on Hee Haw? Is this a mini Pearl situation? What is happening? Iowa. All right, so Iowa just made this a two-person race, she says. That was last night's message. Madeline Leesman over at Town Hall has the story. DeSantis finished second, Nikki Haley third. And Nikki Haley says it's a two-person race. I showed you the number. By the way, look at that. I mean, it's not even close. How well Trump did there in terms of county by county. And she then said it was a two-person race. So she clearly thinks going into New Hampshire that she can sort of harness everyone who doesn't want Trump to be president, in the Republican Party at least, and Democrats who cross over. And don't forget, last night's results had a lot of Democrats voting for Nikki Haley, as she thinks that she can now run against Trump and harness the anti-Trump fever so that she can get the nomination. It's quite a strategy. And it played out in a campaign ad that she released this morning. And get this, she's kind of running against both Trump and Biden.
The two most disliked politicians in America, Trump and Biden, both are consumed by chaos, negativity, and grievances.
I got to pause. I'll let you watch the whole thing. But this picture of Donald Trump holding a Bible in front of the church that's at Lafayette Square right across the street from the White House. You'll remember this moment. This was after the Black Lives Matter riots that took place in front of the White House in June of 2020, when Trump and other people in the White House had to take cover because it looked as though these rioters were going to push through the police line and get to the White House. They tried to burn down that church, that historic church that presidents have been attending since John Adams. And this was a moment where Donald Trump was signaling to the American people that these people who are trying to burn down our cities, they're not going to win in the long run. And for Nikki Haley to use that moment for her own political purposes against Donald Trump, and look at what the narration says.
Both are consumed by chaos.
Chaos. Like he's responsible for the George Floyd protests. Like he's responsible for Black Lives Matter. and the riots and arson. That's despicable for Nikki Haley to do that. And by the way, again, I love people who try to divide us while telling us they're the ones to unite us. Right? The big message here is Nikki Haley is the one who can unite our country, and yet she's purposely going out of her way to divide us in the same breath.
Negativity and grievances of the past. The better choice for a better America? Nikki Haley.
I have a different style and approach. I'll fix our economy, close our border, and strengthen the cause of freedom. We need a new generation of conservative leadership to get it done. I'm Nikki Haley, and I approve this message.
You know, I hate to tell Nikki Haley, I really do, but all of these Democrats that she's appealing to right now to come and vote for her in the Republican primaries and caucuses in those states where you can cross party lines, they're not going to stay with her in November. The only reason they're doing it is to send a message and try to screw up the Republican process. Sorry. But this is her strategy. And it doesn't feel very Republican-y to me as a Republican. Listen, if the ticket, Trump's going to get the nomination, okay? Unless something extraordinarily improper happens at the Republican convention. Yeah, let me rephrase my statement. Trump's going to win enough votes to get the nomination based on the rules the Republican Party have laid out for the upcoming convention. Now, he might not get the nomination because something extraordinarily improper happens at the convention where it's decided that, well, you know, if you are convicted of a crime, you shouldn't be able to be the nominee. I assure you there are people at the convention who are trying to set something like that up. But setting that scenario aside, Trump is positioned to be the nominee. And you're hearing a lot of people in the media and in the Republican Party saying, if Trump picks Nikki, it's locked in. That's the unstoppable ticket because Haley does so well against Biden. Trump's actually doing better against Biden. Go to Real Clear Politics, check out the polling. He's leading by about 2.5% right now in the national polls against Biden. Nikki Haley is within 0.5%. Okay. If that ends up being the ticket, of course I'll vote for it. I'm a Republican. We vote for the Republican ticket. That's what Republicans are supposed to do. Do you hear that, Never Trumpers? That's what Republicans are supposed to do. But as I said before, the Trump-Haley thing, I don't see that being the winning ticket. And I certainly don't see it working to Donald Trump's favor. Because the fact of the matter is, Nikki Haley doesn't really align herself very well with Donald Trump's policies. So if she is on the ticket, now you've already set up a faction, an ugly faction within the White House. And I don't know if you remember the Trump presidency, there were a lot of ugly factions. You had your Pence people, you had your Reince Priebus people, you had your Steve Bannon people, you had your Jared Kushner people, and they were all operating against each other. And I know people, oh, well, that's how CEOs function. They like having disparate opinions. It doesn't work that way in a White House. It was chaotic. It was bad. It didn't function properly. We don't need factions anymore. We need a functioning White House. And the fact of the matter is, Trump and DeSantis, despite the rhetoric and ugliness, are way better politically aligned to function together than anyone else that would be effective on the ticket.